Today in the crypto space, we see the market doing all right, but Bitcoin is getting a bit of a pullback right around $71,000, Ethereum right around that 38 and change, and the rest of the crypto space kind of hesitant. BNB doing pretty good, 2.5%, Jasmine doing great, Rollbit, and a few others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that has dipped significantly in the last little while, and it is currently forming a structure, and that project is called Joystream. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the market. Generally speaking, we see the market cap still kind of rising, but taking a bit of a break lately, which is fine, you know, but it does look a bit top heavy, to be honest. I'm hoping that we don't roll over here, but they're looking a bit top heavy. We got to call it what it is. Trading volume kind of dipping down just a bit as well, as it does look a bit top heavy. We have Bitcoin also looking a bit top heavy, but it could be a bull flag. It could just continue to the upside, of course. Such structures give us options, right? So the structures are great. When we see structure, we can come up with a setup. We can find a way to defend ourselves, especially if we're getting into a fresh position, because ultimately structure allows us to clearly put stop losses, where to get defensive, to have risk management included into our setup. And at this current moment, we do see Bitcoin kind of going sideways. Ethereum is in a bigger structure, hopefully looking for that breakout. Right now we're in a bit of a pullback on the short term, but ultimately maybe gearing up for another big leg to the upside. Guys, ultimately that's what I'm expecting for the crypto space in general, but it's going to take some time. Obviously things happen, and then things happen when you least expect it. All of a sudden it just happens, and then it's too late. So let's keep on preparing here. BNB looking good, grinding to the upside, up 2.4%. BNB has been a great performer in the last while, guys. Definitely undervalued, and all of a sudden you can see it's been doing great, up 17.6% in the last 7 days. And as we keep on going down, we have Altcoin doing great for the last 7 days, but still kind of going sideways. A lot of sideways today, and it's all based off of Bitcoin. Bitcoin got a slight rejection, ever so slightly so far, you know, as it's trying to break out. And what else do you expect? It does happen. We have Near Protocol rolling over, guys, down 3.2% for the day. I'm expecting Near Protocol to do some great things in the near future, so be ready for that one. And of course, scaling into Aurora, guys. We talked about Aurora yesterday, live and on the pre-record, and honestly, right now Aurora is flying. It's doing great. I think it's up approximately 15% as we speak, so doing great there for that position. If you got in, great, and congratulations. What else do we have? We have a lot of these altcoins currently going sideways, as you can see. Sideways, a lot of sideways. Even Render doing okay, but still kind of sideways. Kaspa going a bit sideways. Is that a complex head and shoulders that I'm seeing? Maybe. It's down 4.7%. So Kaspa has been doing great, guys. Kaspa has been doing awesome. What else do you expect? Pullbacks along the way, guys. Be prepared. Get defensive. Take a bit of profit, and that's a healthy way to think about it. Filecoin as well. We have Mantle waking up and maybe going for another impulsive move, and we have Monero. It showed a lot of strength in the last little while. Look at that, up 12.5%, doing great. Floki, the same thing, doing great, but ultimately going sideways for the day. The graph doing a sideways. Tau's waking up and doing its thing. but I feel Tao like did already a great job, you know. So I'm kind of like looking the other way for Tao, because I'm already have a big position on Tao already. I'm looking at other competitors that are lower cap and hopefully seeing them flourish. We have Sui doing good, still grinding to the upside. And VeChain, remember VeChain is doing great, giving us proof of life at this current moment. 1.6% to the upside. I know it's not much, but it's what it represents that's the most. Look at this nice impulse, looking good. Injective the same, 4.7% to the upside. It's doing great. Jasmine also doing okay, slow grind to the upside. So the market still has a bit of good moves to the upside. Still some good gainers there, like even meme coins. Look at Brett, 14% today. We have Flare waking up. We have DYDX waking up. A few projects are waking up today, while some are taking a break. And that's absolutely normal, number one. And number two, it does resemble what an altcoin season's like. You know, they all take turns. Wave, you know, narrative by narrative, market cap by market cap, and they all take their turns bit by bit. And you can see that some projects are waking up today while some others are going sideways. So be prepared, guys, a DCA, and that way you can prepare your bags for the next move to the upside. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Generally speaking, the market has been showing some strength with some sideways, but Bitcoin is still looking super bullish. Bitcoin at the end of the day is in a bull flag still, right into this handle, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, and big picture is still in a bull flag looking for a breakout for much higher levels. Guys, we just got to be patient. You know, look how much patience we need to have in the last little while, and they definitely get rewarded. So let's look at this in a bit more detail. Just real quick, a quick update here on Bitcoin. Ultimately, as long as we stay above 67, 66 and change, 67K, guys, I am happy. I am bullish. I remain bullish. There's no reason to get bearish. And if we come down and test the lows again, as long as we stay, you know, above, it's totally fine. Now, yeah, we could even come down to this low, which is at about 60,000, and still, generally speaking, we're still okay because it's still within a bull flag. What if we get a bounce and, you know, get to the top of the range again and then break out? It could also happen. So right now, getting bearish is very scary, right? Very scary. And obviously, getting super bullish on Bitcoin as a breakout is also a bit scary. It does have its risks, right? So we have to understand. This is why here on the channel, I do focus on bottom dwelling altcoins. I want ones that are at the bottom ready to run. I don't want to buy tops. I don't want to buy green candles. I don't want to buy the FOMO. I don't want to buy any of that. I'd rather miss out than buy into those green candles. So ultimately, what we're looking for is great risk to reward opportunities. And at the current moment, Bitcoin is not giving me that opportunity, okay? Because we're testing the highs. You're buying the tops. You're looking for the breakout, which is awesome, no doubt, if we break out. But I'm going to be looking for altcoins that have yet to take off, because that's going to give me the risk to reward ratio that I need. Ultimately, we see volatility still pushing up, and it's definitely overbought. And momentum, is it momentum going to get overbought too? It could be very possible that we see the volatility, which is the orange line, stay overbought for the next little while, giving the momentum the opportunity to keep on climbing. And the same with the EMAs here on the trend. The trend looks like it's getting that reversal right into here, and staying in the bullish control zone, guys, means that Bitcoin could actually break out and start moving. Look at the bullish divergence, the green dot giving me confidence that we're ready to run. And guys, here we are, ready to run out of this level and potentially break out. Guys, I remain bullish until invalidated, and at this point I'm not invalidated, so I'm going to be looking for those altcoins. And let's look at Joystream. Guys, Joystream, big picture, guys, has been coming down. Let's be real about this. You know, it came down significantly. A bit of FUD kicked in from the market, you know, and then all of a sudden we are in a very, in my opinion, obviously undervalued scenario. Guys, it came down significantly. Now we can analyze this. It does look like a more or less an 886 retracement from the previous lows. It's a quick, it's a very deep retracement. It just means that now we're given an opportunity. The opportunity is that we can buy on the cheap. Okay, we can accumulate at much lower levels. Now, what do we expect? We expect horizontal supports. This was a bit of a support level. We did get a follow through. We got a rejection, guys. We came down for another lower low. Now, at this point, if you were able to take profits, great, congrats. If you didn't, no big deal. You could have stopped yourself out below these lows at break even, or whatever the case may be. Now we made that lower low. This horizontal line, this thick white line, is the line that needed to be defended, and ultimately that was your invalidation for the bullish move. And because we broke below, the smartest thing to do there at that level would be to de-risk. Either exit positions in the short term, and wait to see where the price action is gonna fall. And at this current moment, you can see that we fell into the volume gap. We're in the volume gap. Now, as we are in the volume gap, what we need is some proof of life. We need something from the market to suggest that there's accumulation happening. And unfortunately, at this level, we don't get much volume. There's not much volume. We got a lot of sell volume into here, guys. A lot of sell pressure, right? All of a sudden, because we can see that it's sell pressure, because ultimately we got all this volume into here, but we sold off. So the bears did outperform the bulls, and that's why we got that lower low. Now the question is this the actual bottom? Is it now the time that we should be taking more risk? And I say, you know what, guys, at this level, why not take a bit of risk, especially that we have starting to build a bit of clarity with regards to invalidation of this bullish thesis. As we come down, we should start getting a bit more bullish, because you're not buying tops, guys. You're buying the retracements, you're buying the fear, you're buying the uncertainty and doubt, and ultimately the retracement is deep. You're not buying tops ultimately. So let's look at some of this, right? From a horizontal perspective, we fell into the volume gap. They have a high probability of reversal. Now we're filling up that volume gap with a bit of this volume, but it's not a lot. I would like to see a spike of volume into here to see that the market is getting in, and we're not getting that right now, unfortunately. But we are forming a type of flag. Now it could be a bear flag, it could be a continuation pattern, so be careful that we could come down lower. And I'm just being clear here, because we also have, sorry guys, we also have the expansion. The expansion right now, let's take a look, is forming another little expansion. So we got to be careful with trying to catch that falling knife on Joystream. But we do see that the momentum is going upwards, and nonetheless the expansion, even if you want to include this one, as of now it is still much smaller than this one. This one was even smaller, and this right here is absolutely much smaller, right? So what we want to see ultimately is divergence. We want to see divergence. We want to see horizontal supports being respected. We want to see a little more increase in volume. There's a bit, but not much. And what would be absolutely epic is to see the trend. The trend is clearly to the upside. The EMAs are pushing up. We got EMA cross. We got open EMAs. We got bullish divergence. We got follow throughs. We didn't get invalidated. Everything is good. Green histogram bars. So we're slow and steadily trying to get to the bullish control zone, which is on the top half of the oscillator, and then ultimately to see this become a pivot point. Now, what about if it doesn't become a pivot point? If it doesn't become a pivot point, yeah, it's very likely that we could keep on coming down. This is why it's important to know your invalidation of your bullish thesis. But ultimately, what about if we go bullish? The reward is so much higher than the risk that you could be taking right here. The reward is that we go back to previous highs, that we go all to previous highs and get into price discovery. And of course, there's a lot of work to be done, and there's levels that need to be respected and need to be considered. Now, I like this level for potential a reaction. As you can see, at about 2.9 cents, we do get into a level of weakness in this chart, which means that we could definitely fly right through and reach higher levels. So let's put a red box into there just to prepare visually what we'd be doing. Lots of volume into here, and a lot of salty individuals that bought into this level and are potentially holding the bag at the current moment, a red bag for that matter. Now all of a sudden we start coming down, desperately looking for support at any little spike of volume, any little node of volume that we can get here. Then the real high, the next real high, is all the way down here. Okay, guys, so is it possible that we come down a little bit more? Yes, it is possible that we come down to about 0.005. But as we do come down and get these horizontals, you can see that we're going sideways right now, and we do have a bit of a diagonal trend that we got to identify and kind of like see if we can get a play happening. We could break trend. It's a bit of a trend. Now, if we break the trend, that's our first indication that we need to be full on. We need to be ready, because the break of trend means that ultimately we are looking for a break of structure. And the structure, the real break of structure, is above this high. That's a major challenge. Obviously, much higher. We want to get above the 200 daily. We want to break through this volume gap. There's a lot of work to be done. Look at all this volume that we got into here. That's going to act as resistance. A lot of emotions, I'm saying. Point of control is right into there. So really what we are hoping for is that this becomes the pivot. We want this to become the pivot. We got good indications on the momentum and the trend as a reversal, and we need a change of character. We need to keep price action right now. Basically, we need to keep an eye on price action. We want to see this thing start making higher highs and higher lows. As of now, as of today, it's still lower lows and lower highs. So what we're trying to do at this current moment is to stay one step ahead of the market. Okay, so we did get great reactions here. Unfortunately, it wasn't the pivot that we were looking for. Now, what I'm hoping to see is if this is divergent. Is it divergent? No, it isn't. Unfortunately, it isn't. Let me kind of see here what's going on. The momentum is not divergent, but the trend is divergent. Let's reuse this, and you can see what I mean. Look how we're coming down into a nice little wedge type pattern. Let's make this a bit smaller because there's no divergence there other than the expansions getting smaller, the red expansions. But what I like the most is this. Look at the trend. As the price is coming down, the trend, the oscillator is moving to the upside. Everything is tapering to the upside, which is a class A bullish divergence into this descending wedge. And as we get closer to the apex, as we get closer to the end point of this type of wedge where we consolidate into a very tight package into this triangular formation here at the bottom, eventually we'll get an expansion and hopefully it becomes to the upside. It's likely, probability, a descending wedge likely has the statistical probability to break to the upside, especially after a deep retracement such as this one, right? So the odds are in your favor now to start accumulating a bit of position at this zone, given the fact that we're getting some good signals, divergences, and on both momentum and trend and horizontal supports that are being respected. So let's talk about setup. Let's see what's going on here. Let's get the pen out and let's see. What I really would like to see, not only this, but I would like to see a breakout and ideally a back test. And the reason being is because a back test is going to give me a confirmation low, a higher low in comparison to this one. And if I'm making a higher low, ultimately what I also want is a break of this high so I can confirm a higher high. So if I can confirm a higher high and I can confirm a higher low, then all of a sudden, no longer are we making lower lows, but now we're making higher highs and higher lows. So this becomes a perfect pivot point. And this is what I kind of want to see. Obviously, it's not going to be as perfect as this. You never know, it could. But what we want to see is that. Now, in addition to this, what's also possible, which is less likely in my opinion, it's more likely that this happens because we have the point of control right into here to act as resistance. We also have the 200 daily right into here to act as resistance as it does form this potential pivot point pattern. But what could also happen, just keep in mind that what could also happen is that we go from one green candle to the upside and break this high in one shot. Because big picture, it's not that much. Look at this. Really, we could come up, break that, come back down, back test this whole cluster, and then continue to the upside. It's very, very possible. I think what's more possible is the first option, because to break the character of the trend, which is lower lows and lower highs in one go, requires a lot of bullish bids. And what we need here for Joystream is a catalyst. We need something to happen with its ecosystem that is going to bring a lot of bullishness in, right? Whether it be a listing or some sort of major upgrade that is super, super great, or something that's going to happen there to really bring some eyes and obviously volume into the project so we can get a quick pivot point such as this one to the upside. But in the meantime, an ideal way, obviously in this current scenario or environment, Joystream environment that we're in, is to see a slow pivot point being built, the first option. And what I like about that also, it gives us an opportunity to accumulate into all these levels before we get the parabolic upturn to the upside, especially upon this back test right here, the confirmation low. That's the best risk to reward ratio opportunity that you can get on charts, especially on descending wedges, is that confirmation low, the higher low. Okay, so that's what I would be doing, and we're staying one step ahead here because as of now we're seeing a lot of projects break out bullish, especially out of these descending wedges, and I'm seeing one right here as we speak. Okay, so let's take a look at a setup here. If we were happy to get right into this level and we decide to say, you know what, I'm going to take risk, but I'm going to de-risk right around here, which puts us at approximately, giving us the option to fall a little bit lower through the volume gap. It's a 27% dip. I get it. Let's just hear me out for a second, because really the 27% dip has to come with some sort of reward. Now, if we look at the majority of the resistance, it doesn't look good. It's only about 2.2 to 1. It's not the best risk to reward ratio. It's okay. I like at least 3 to 1, personally speaking, but a lot of traders do 2 to 1 ratios because at least the edge is in their favor. But I like 3 to 1. So ultimately what I would have to do is psychologically prepare for the fact that we could get rejected at this cluster, at this node of volume that you kind of see here. We break out, get rejected, come back down, maybe we come back down, and maybe we come back down to this level to reaccumulate again, to build my position over time. And then after that happens, I am a little bit more confident in the fact that we're going to start breaking out higher. because that's what we do. We get rejected at resistance zones, come down, pick up bullish bids, and then pick up enough bullish bids to have some strength to break out of the previous resistance. That's how we make peaks and valleys in the price action. So then I would be looking at this level at that point to say, okay, if we get, you know, rejected here, what's the likelihood of a big rejection? To be honest, it's not that big. We have a lot of empty space right into here, a lot of empty volume. The reality is we also have the volume gap that can take us to about 4 cents. So for me, that's what I would be looking at this point. I would be trailing up a stop loss into profit and putting it right around here, 1.7 cents below the point of control, because likely if ever we were to come back, the point of control and this huge cluster of supply and demand would be my support zone, and that way I can kind of let the rest run to the upside and break through the volume gap. And we're talking about hundreds of percent at this rate. So getting it at the bottom gives you a lot of options for the future if we start making this a pivot, if we start moving to the upside here. So that's a bullish perspective. Again, the bearish perspective, guys, that we keep on coming down out of this structure. We break below this, you know, little bull flag or bear flag, or this pivot point that we're potentially making at horizontal resistance or support, and we keep on coming down. We break below the validation, which is below 0.008, and we keep on coming down. And unfortunately, that's the negative pressure that nobody wants here for Joystream, but we need something to happen soon. And we've seen a lot of projects break out of these descending wedges at this level. So if you're going to be taking a bit of risk, understand your invalidation should be right around 0.00825, which is right around here. And ultimately, if we get that pivot, guys, start getting defensive and trailing up that stop loss. It's pretty good. I'm hoping the best for Joystream because it's been retracing quite a bit. I have been accumulating over time in the last little while, buying up all these little dips, and I feel like I'm due for another accumulation phase. So I'll give you updates along the way, guys, as I build my position. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and the best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, I'll see you tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.